Good evening and thank you for joining us for yet another edition of the program Capital Market. I'm Temple Ashaju. The Investment and Securities Tribunal was reconstituted about this time last year with focus on resolving disputes in the Nigerian capital market, especially around investments. 1 year after the reorganization by the Ministry of Finance, no fewer than 50 cases have been resolved by the Isaiah Idoko Ako-led tribunal. On the program this evening, we'll have a sit-down with the chairman, Mr. Barrister Isaiah Idoko Ako, ahead of the Southwest Capital Market Workshop, which holds next week in Lagos. But before we engage in that, let's deal with a bit of the past, the present, and of course, the future much later. And that's the analysis on the market numbers, the way they ended this week. We'll begin with the equities markets, where stocks closed negative for the third consecutive week, with the benchmark index dropping 5.02% to 32,327.59 points amidst continued sell-offs by foreign investors. 4 sessions of the week closed in the red, except for Friday's positive close, which halted a 7-day losing streak. And accordingly, the year-to-date and month-to-date losses surged to 15.47% and 7.23% respectively. The bears dominated all the major sectoral indices, where you've got heavy losses in the insurance sector by 5.93%. You got that followed by the banking sector, down 4.35%. Consumer goods sector was also down 5.37%, and you have the industrial goods sector as the worst hit, down by 7.55%. And then you've got the oil and gas side of things there. And now for the unlisted securities markets, where you have the NASD OTC USI ended positive 2.05% upwards, with market capitalization at 472.47 billion naira. In terms of volume, that market ended 429.73 million units this week, for a total value of 334.25 billion naira. We got increased by 52% in deals, and that came in at 79 in general. For the volume, you got more volume of transaction over Mass Telecom Innovation Securities. That is tradable there. They had 421 million units of shares for this week. And in terms of the gainers, you have gains in Niger Delta Exploration Company, up 12.06% this week, while CSCS, the Central Securities Clearing System, was the major loser for this week. In terms of the fixed income markets, we got the activities in treasury bills very, very bearish, as markets players sold off aggressively on the back of hiking the rate of the longest tenured bill, which is the 324-day to maturity, on offer at the open market operations auction this week. It was up 13.20% from 12.50% previously. You also have a 45 basis points uptick in the stop rate for the 364-day to maturity at the primary market auction. The third reason why we saw bearish sentiment was the anticipation of further rate hikes at the OMO auctions, as we will be seeing subsequently. As a result, yields rose 208 basis points on the average week-on-week to close at 14.43%. T-bills numbers you have for yesterday, we had 21st of March priced at 13.55%. There you got it on the screen. While for November 2018, November the 8th precisely, you have those numbers right there on the screen. In terms of bonds, activities in the bond markets were similarly bearish, with sentiments weighed by the increase in the short-term rates and the release of the August inflation figure, which rose 11.23% from 11.14% in July. Consequently, average yields rose 16 basis points week-on-week to close at 15.27%. But as yields also expanded across the shorts and the medium sides, as well as the long ends of the curve, following investors sold sell-offs on the June 2019, June 2030, the June 2037 bonds in general. For our focus this evening, which is the Investment and Securities Tribunal, yes, next week there should be a workshop between the IST, judges, lawyers, the capital market registrars, the capital market traders, dealers in the system at large. That will be holding in Lagos. And that's as a result of the need for awareness creation on the activities of the IST. Over time, you have seen the introduction of over-the-counter markets in the Nigerian stock market, in the Nigerian capital market at large. Some have a dual function as both an OTC and, of course, an exchange, trading on securities and equities. All of these are some of the reasons why judges who have jurisdiction on cases that relate to investment dispute have to be brought up to date with what is going on in the market. And so next week, Monday, 17th of September through to the 18th, which is Tuesday, we'll be having the IST in Lagos. So we had a sit down with the chairman of the IST, that is Mr. Barrister Isaiah Idoko Ishiako, over the weekend, yesterday precisely, to tell us what to expect and, of course, what has been achieved within the 1 year of this team and what's the next stage to actually look forward to. Let's listen to that interview.
I'm happy to inform you that we'll be able to complete 1 year successfully. From the onset, we've discussed what